Hello friends, hello family, welcome to Veronica Says. This is my daily scent and makeup of the day video upload. I'm going to share the fragrance that I have on, some notes about that, followed by what's on my face for a simple Sunday look. Thank you to the new subscribers who joined recently. I'm so glad to have you. Hope you leave a comment down in the comments to let me know who you are and where you're from and share your thoughts about the fragrance and makeup that we're going to talk about today. You're joining me from my bathroom. Hope that's okay with you. This is obviously where I get ready. So I've got my products in here and my fragrances. I always talk about the linen closet where I keep my fragrances. So they're in there. Everything's in the bathroom together. You're not really supposed to keep fragrances in a bathroom because it gets humid in a bathroom, obviously, as you're showering and the temperature changes. But that closet is pretty far away from the shower and I keep the doors opened and everything, so it stays sort of temperature controlled and dark in there where the perfumes are. So my scent of the day today is Gucci Guilty. This is the Eau de Parfum concentration. The Eau de Toilette is currently sold out on FragranceNet, but the EDP is still available on FragranceNet if you shop there. And if you do the 30% off coupon, I think you can pick this up for about 40 something dollars, low 40s. Well, this is the 1.6 ounce. Yep, 50 mil. So I've been wanting to get my hands on this fragrance because I've heard so much about it on YouTube from fragrance reviewers and also read a lot of the reviews on Fragrantica, and it seems to be a hit. Didn't have this in my collection. Remember smelling Gucci fragrances back in the day and really liking them a lot. So wanted to get my hands on this one. I really liked the bottle too. Looks like that, clear on the sides. This sort of gold plating on the front. So this is supposed to be a fruity, spicy, floral fragrance, and it was launched in 2010. So it's still like in the world of perfumery, relatively new if you think about it. 11 years old now. Did I do the math right? Yes, 11 years old. The top notes here are pink pepper, mandarin orange, and bergamot. Middle notes of lilac, peach, geranium, jasmine, and black currant. And the base notes are patchouli, amber, musk, and vanilla. And I like this. I actually asked my husband to pick out the scent of the day. I gave him a few choices and he chose this one, thought it was the nicest. And so I'm trying it out for the first time. This is what I would consider a deep, sensual fragrance. It's got a lot of body, a lot of character. I do pick up a hint of the fruitiness in there, but for the most part, it smells like a musky, sensual fragrance. I do think it is one of those like grown and sexy scents. This is not a young scent. This is not a little flirty scent, although the description would have you think differently. So on Fragrantica, it says this, that this is designed for the glamorous, daring, brave, and very sexy girls who like to party and enjoy themselves. Yeah, any partying days are far behind me at this stage of the game. I'm that girl that's in bed by 8 or 9 o'clock with her moisturizer on and her YouTube videos playing. So I don't know that this will be getting any party time from me, but it is a very beautiful, deep scent. I'm trying to detect which of the notes stand out to me. I do get a little bit of that citrus at the top, the orange, a little bit of the pepper, and in the middle notes, I would say that the lilac and the jasmine stand out to me the most. Lilac and the jasmine stand out to me the most, maybe with that black currant as like a halo around them, if that makes sense. And then as it has dried all the way down in the base, I do get heavy amber, musk, and vanilla. So it's one of those scents, I think, if you're not into those kind of notes, you would probably find this overboard, maybe cloying, and maybe a little way too mature for you. And so if you're that person that likes lighter, more airy or fruity kinds of fragrances, sweet fragrances that are not heavy, stay away from this. This is a full-bodied experience, is maybe the way to put it. So that's Gucci Guilty. Glad to have this little gem in my collection. Check it out on FragranceNet if you're interested, and make sure you're using the coupon codes. Just Google discount code for FragranceNet and you'll find probably at least a 30% off code that they typically have. So that's that. So if you're here just for the fragrance portion, thanks so much. We'll see you tomorrow. For those of you that would like to stay on with with makeup, let's get into it. So it's Sunday, and I do on Sundays what I call a simple Sunday makeup day, meaning I don't do like an entire full face, but put on enough so that I don't look like my usual ghostly, on the deathbed cadaver self. Get a little bit of life onto this canvas. So what I did today, and I like to on Sundays make sure that my look doesn't take any more than maybe 10 minutes at the most. So today after I did my moisturizer, I used the Bare Minerals Original Foundation. This does have a little bit of SPF in it. For those of you that have been around for a while and into the mineral makeup game, you know that this OG Bare Minerals foundation is one of the best. And so it is a powder foundation. This one is in the color medium beige. I do have like a lighter color, which I have on today, and I also have a darker color. I think it's just called medium. And the inside looks like this. Back in the day, they didn't have these toppers, and you would have to tap out a little bit of the powder and hope you didn't get it everywhere. Thankfully, now they have these toppers that have, you can twist it like that and cover the holes for travel. But the powder looks like so. I still do it old school, you guys. For those of you that have been around for a while and you remember the commercials for the mineral makeup, they talk about tapping it into the top of the cap, right? The cap. And then going in, this is not the brush I use. I'll talk about the brush situation in a minute, but with something like a kabuki brush, and you tap, swirl, and tap on the side before you stamp it in. Do you remember? I know you guys do. But so I have graduated from using a kabuki brush. This is a natural hair brush. Ooh, look at the powder on that. It's Sunday, y'all, and it is time to wash the brushes. I use a set of brushes per week, and I wash them out really thoroughly once a week and then bring out another set for the next week. But what I wanted to say is that I have found what is a holy grail for me, brush for mineral makeup, mineral foundation, powder foundation. This is from It Cosmetics, and it's, what do you know? It's called the Buffing Mineral Powder Brush, Buffing Mineral Powder, the number 206. And in comparison to the kabuki brush or something like it, it's a little smaller and maybe a little bit denser. This one comes up farther, so it's more flexible. This one is not quite as flexible, but I find that this picks up powder beautifully. And what I do is I stamp it into my face first, all over, and then I buff. And I think that it looks pretty skin-like. If you've been watching my Get Ready With Me videos, you know I do have texture on my skin, as you can see here on my nose, into my cheeks, on my forehead, and down along here. I'm 46 years old. It's what happens to your skin as you age, especially if you're like me and spends a lot of time in the sun. So it's just something I have to learn to deal with and cope with. You can put on a primer that helps to sort of spackle in just a little bit some of the, texture on your cheeks and so forth, but it really also helps to stamp in your powder and then buff. All that said, I'm never going to get rid of texture, but I think that powder does a nice job of sort of evening out my skin tone. If you want to see what my skin naturally looks like, you can check out like yesterday's Get Ready With Me video. And it has Scott Barnes in the thumbnail, if that helps. Right at the beginning of that video, you can see what my natural skin looks like. I've done my makeup for today, but it helps to just even out the skin tone and overall give the whole face a more even, toned down, toned out, toned even appearance, whatever the right expression is. But that's the 206 from It. Great brush for mineral powder. Let us move on. After I did that, I did use a little bit of concealer. I didn't go too crazy, but I do have discoloration under my eyes that I like to correct, especially if I'm going to be filming a video for my friends. And this is the Revlon Candid Antioxidant Concealer. Mine is in the color 30, light medium. It has a what's called a doe foot applicator. And I find this to be a really nice drugstore option for concealer that performs well, looks fairly skin-like. If you see under my eyes, I do have texture under my eyes. I do have fine lines. Comes with the age and with the territory. So what I like for a concealer is to either help correct that or at least not make it worse. It has to be one or the other. If it makes it worse, it's out of here. But I find that this does both. It corrects and doesn't, it stays put during the day, if that makes sense. Okay, so that's that. I didn't go in with any powder over that. That's just, plain concealer on my eyes today. I did use a bronzer because I like to have a little bit of color around the sort of perimeter of my face. If you look closely, you can see that this is a little bit more like toasted than the color, say, on the tip of my nose or on my chin, and the same thing under my chin around here. And for that, I used the same brush that I used yesterday, which is a Scott Barnes number 65, Scott Barnes 65 fan brush. And I used the butter bronzer, which I love so much. This is in the color, this is the deep bronzer color. That's what it's called, deep bronzer. Ooh. Oh my God, almost a disaster. I have like 5 of these in different colors. And I just go in. I love bronzer. I don't know that you can use too much. That's a lie. Of course you can use too much bronzer and you can look crazy. But I like to use a lot of bronzer. I'm a fan of the bronzer. And I just go all around my face really quickly under my chin to give that a little bit of depth and dimension. And I also will pinch it and go along the sides of my nose to create a little bit of contouring on my nose. And give it just a little bit more shape, especially if I'm going to be taking pictures. Now I've got light from the skylights here washing this out, but you can see maybe on the other side how it gives it a little bit more depth. The other thing I do with bronzer on an easy day like today is just run it into my crease, just to give the eyes a little bit of color and warm them up. The butter bronzers are awesome, you guys. This is Physicians Formula. It's hard to go wrong with these. These rival high-end and luxury bronzers any day. And I have a lot of bronzers. So this is one recommendation you can trust me on. It does smell like coconut a little bit, like coconut tanning lotion maybe. Very slightly. I like that. But if you don't like fragrance, maybe not. Otherwise, if you're looking for an affordable drugstore bronzer, this is like the queen of the drugstore bronzers. So that is Physicians Formula Butter Bronzer. Scott Barnes number 65 fan brush is really good for bronzing the face, getting into the hollows of your cheeks and so forth. Let's go on. I did, for a little bit of blush, use the Wet n Wild color icon in the color Keep It Peachy. This is a super drugstore option for blush. I like this peachy color because it's pretty natural. It's not a rosy look, obviously. It's more of like a bronzy look. And I used this, I forget what this is called, Duo Fiber. These are Duo Fiber brushes. This is from Sonia Kashuk, Kashik, and this line is sold at, or Sonia's brought Sonia, because we're on a first name basis, me and Sonia. Her brushes are sold at Target. Really great brushes, good affordable options, and it's duo fiber because some of the fibers are shorter and some are longer to allow you to do like a little bit of quick stippling. But I like this color because it's pretty natural. For me, if you're a warm toned person, I don't know what this would look like on a, lighter toned or cooler toned rather person, but if you have warmer skin tone, this is a really nice option. If you've used this, I'd love to hear from you. Do you like this? I also have the one that's pink. I think it's called Pink Pearlescence or Pearlescent, and it's supposed to be an imitation for the NARS Orgasm blush. Yes, it's called Orgasm, I know. But with blush, really quick, you do a technique called draping, which is just to put a little bit right there over the forehead and tie it together. And if you want to get really fancy, you can also run it into your eye look just to tie the whole thing together. You see how that has like instantly tied this part, and this part of my face together without being too obvious. So that is the blush. Moving along. On the eyes today, I used the Lancome Idole Lash Mascara. That's what it's called. This one has like a crescent shaped wand that it's not my favorite. I prefer an hourglass wand, but this is really nice, and I think it did a decent job of lifting up, oh, I'm looking over here, my eyelashes, lifting it up. But I use a curler as well. And then, I used the bronzer in my my crease line, and I went in with, this is called an e.l.f. Fluffy Eye Blender Brush. e.l.f. Fluffy Eye Blender Brush. And I took it up here. Instead of doing like in the crease only, I started up here to add dimension and push this part of my eye shadow look back in space. Does that look crazy? I pushed it back in space. But I go up here and do one of these numbers. That's a trick I learned from Kim Kardashian's makeup artist. His name is Mario. He's his own makeup artist, you guys, but he's famous for doing Kim Kardashian's face and that whole contoured look. I never get his last name right. It starts with a D, and he has his own line of makeup and I think, well, the brushes got sold out, but makeup at Sephora. But he does this to Kim's, because Kim and I are on a first name basis too. Up in here to create some dimension, and then he brings it back out here. I didn't do quite as dramatic a look, but this is really like a one color look, with the exception of then a little bit of that blush just kind of thrown in there as you're doing your cheeks. That's it. I don't have anything on my eyelid. And the other quick thing that I did is I went into this little e.l.f. bite-size eyeshadow. This is called Pumpkin Pie. And I went into the dark brown here and used a little tiny smudger brush like this. This is the Morphe 213 little smudger brush, and just did, some eyeliner there under my eye and also on the top lash. So it's all shadow liner, which gives the eyes a much softer, more natural look than a harsh pencil or liquid brush. And then for the lips, oh wait, sorry, eyebrows. I didn't fill in my eyebrows. I will usually during the week go in here with a pencil and fill this little sparse part in, and also bring the tail out a little more. I just kept it simple today and used the NYX eyebrow gel, tinted eyebrow gel. Any gel will do that has any tint in it, and just to give it a little bit more color. And a real quick hint about using these, don't start here because you'll deposit too much product like I just did. You see that? You don't want that in your life. Who has time for that? You want to start back in here and very gently then start to work it out to give your eyebrows a little bit of color and thickness. Because without this, my eyebrows look fairly, I still have eyebrows, but they're fairly sparse. So then quickly for lips, I don't really want to be fussing with a lot of lipstick today, but I do love a good lip gloss. So I did do a really light lip line in the ColourPop Lippy Pencil BFF number 3, and then went in with one of my very favorite lip glosses. This is the Faux, F-A-U-X, Faux Real Lust Lip Gloss from Mother Pat McGrath herself, one of the most iconic makeup artists of our time. And it's a beautiful color. Love that. It's so moisturizing, makes my lips look juicy. And just does nice. So this is it. This is what I'm looking like today on Sunday. It'll be really easy to wash this off at the end of the night. I do a double cleanse with an oil cleanser, followed by micellar water. And I know some dermatologists hate micellar water. I use it. I use a microfiber towel to do the oil cleanse first, followed by the micellar water, and that will take everything off. So that's the look for today. I did want to share too before I go that Lancome is having a huge sale. I think the best deal is if you order over $175 worth, you get 35% off. I'm going to pause and get you the code. Hang on. The code is called Our Treat. OURTREAT, Our Treat. And it includes their fragrances. So I have one example here. This one is called Magnolia Rosé. These are some of the most luxe bottles out on the market with these magnetic caps and this gold plating on both sides, the nameplate and a floral plate, and they will engrave these for you if you like. I don't know why you would need that, but if you're like giving a special gift and you want to write a note to them, you can put it on here. These fragrances, listen to me. Maison Lancome does not play. All of the fragrances that are currently available on the site, with the exception of 2 that I haven't tried, are, I think, worth it. They may not be your favorite, but there's no denying that they are high quality fragrances that are potent, they last a long time, and they're beautiful in their own right. So absolutely wonderful. If you have questions about any of them, feel free to drop me a comment. I would be happy to share with you my recommendations, or you can DM me on Instagram. I am at Veronica Says All. Veronica Says All. Thank you so much for joining me. Have a fabulous day, and watch out. I'm going to be posting some other videos today and through the week, so you're going to see the same look and outfit because I'm doing like marathon recording today. Have a fabulous one, friends. Thanks for joining me today.